Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for my lifter Michelle's vlog. Her training is relatively simple right now, even though she's an advanced lifter. She has state records. She's qualified for North American Championship, and she's only been training about 3 years. In spite of that, her training is quite simple right now. We run training maxes twice a week. So each of her competition lifts, we run a training max that I program for her. And we do those on a 4-day upper lower. So she has 2 days a week that are bench press days, which are upper days, and then 2 days a week that are squat and deadlift days or lower days. We start with a training max, then we do supplemental work. So this week, her benching, we did 160 pounds. All right, so at 160 pounds for those, and then afterwards, for her accessory work, everything is geared towards upper body muscle mass with a bias towards her pectorals. A little bit of bias towards delts also, but right now I'm really trying to bring her chest up. Her chest is her limiting factor on the bench press. She has very, very strong triceps. She's a history of being a closed grip bencher only due to some shoulder issues. She was also previously a very serious boxer before getting into powerlifting. So again, she's got that speed, she's got the tricep strength, and then she did all that closed grip benching and she couldn't wider grip bench. I built her up to the point to where she can bench with a wide grip pain-free. She can do so safely, and so now we use it and we're building her bench up. But because she had already benched something like 150 pounds with a closed grip, her triceps are very, very strong. So we still do a little tricep work. And as you guys will see, she's working with like 75 pounds on JM presses for sets of 10 at the end of her workout. So again, the tricep strength is there. You know, when you extrapolate that over her triceps, she could bench 200 plus if her triceps were determining what she could bench, meaning her triceps are strong enough for that. Her chest is not. So what we're doing, we're putting a bias towards her. So we're doing a lot of pause benching for 10s. Then we're doing dumbbell pressing. Now, I do like incline for a lot of lifters in this situation. However, she has a history of the incline being extremely painful on her shoulder also. And so we're not at a point where we can do that, but we can do dumbbells. And so dumbbells allow us, after we've worked the chest quite hard with the pause benching, it allows us to go into a stretch reflex type movement or a myotatic reflex. Puts that pectoral into a lengthened position. There's a lot of hypertrophy potential there. A lot of hypertrophy potential. And you'll notice all of our stuff, we kind of focus on that lengthened position. Why? Because we're chasing hypertrophy. I'm not worried about other things as far as her movement patterns go. We're just letting the heavy pause benching handle that. Everything else is about how stacked can we get her upper body. And keep in mind, drug-free women, it is very difficult to build upper body muscle mass. You know, she's actually quite jacked for a girl who's on no gear. She's actually quite jacked. We have to take it up another tier. If we want to get her bench press to an elite level, we have to get her upper body bigger. So a lot of 10 rep sets, a lot of stretch position movements, and then of course we finish up with things like lateral raises. Again, why? Delts are the largest muscle in the upper body. This is a movement that works all 3 heads of the deltoid, but it does so with a light weight because of the leverages involved. Barely easy on recovery. So again, chasing size. We're chasing size. All right, back squats. We're working with 280 pounds this week. This is more than she's ever done in competition. We are now doing it regularly. Okay, she's going to walk into her next meet with a big squat PR. We've been doing the squatting like this. We've been doing training maxes on squats. We don't do any extra squatting. We don't do any rep work on squats for her. For those curious, they're like, well, you've got her up to a 280. We don't squat for reps. We used to speed squat for doubles, sometimes for 5s, for boxes against bands and chains. We don't even do that now. We do the lifts you're going to see coming up. Here's her doing a 330 deadlift. We're pulling this twice a week now, a little more than her state record that she pulled. I believe 319 was her meet lift that broke her state record for her. All right, so what do we do to build these up? How are we building that squat? Hip thrusts, leg presses. We do hip thrusts and then we do single leg presses where we alternate legs. This is building the musculature of her squat. You combine this with practicing doing really heavy squatting. Since her last meet, even though we've hit all these PRs on the squat, we have not done anything beyond singles. That's all we've done. And I might take her over to doubles and triples, but right now we're doing really good off training maxes. If it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. If I need to, I'll start rotating her through waves of triples, doubles, singles, whatever we need to do. Right now it's working. We're consistently getting stronger on the squat by doing what? Hypertrophy work, building the muscles of her lower body, building her quads, adductors, and glutes, right? And then doing heavy squats for low volume. This is a recipe for success. It works. It works very well. And I know a lot of people don't get it and they don't agree with it. They're like, how can you make that work? You can't just get jacked and then have a big squat. You can if you practice just a little bit of really heavy squatting. You can. Of course you can. It's easier to recover this way. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at this and saying, how can I get as much muscle onto all the muscles involved with the squat while eating into our recovery the least? All right, things like this do it. Low axial loading movements. Save the axial loading for the heavy squats and deadlifts. And if we do that, what happens? It means we can do heavy squats and deadlifts often. We can do them more often because we're not compressing the spine outside of the heavy squats and deadlifts. So we can do them twice a week. We can get away with it. Okay, outside of that, what do? We're using glute ham raises and reverse hyperextensions. All right, these build our deadlift. These build our deadlift up. Think about what are the primary movers in the deadlift. Now, of course, she does pull-ups. She does chin-ups. Sometimes I have her do phases or rows. All right, that handles the upper body stuff. What about the rest? Well, what do we use to deadlift? We use glutes. We use hamstrings. Sure, quads matter, erectors matter, adductors matter. All that stuff matters to a lesser extent. The big movers, glutes and hamstrings. Well, do these movements build glutes, hamstrings, and erectors? Yeah, very effectively. And they do so without eating into our recovery. We can handle more training volume. We can handle more volume in these areas and recover from it faster. We grow faster. And if we can keep building those muscles and we then practice the heavy singles, what happens? Lifter gets stronger. They get stronger slowly. It's very slow using this method, but it's consistent. That's what we're looking for. And then we'll finish up here. You guys can watch her hit her training maxes again the second time she did them this week. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.